Hello, welcome to chapter 7 of the Werepuppy, the final chapter. I wonder what happens. Let's find out. So, they were woken by Mum's screams in the living room when she came downstairs in the morning and saw the shredded state of her rug. Remember, Wolfie had ripped it to shreds in the middle of the night. Mickey crawled out of the cardboard box. Wolfie bounced out, not in the least bit concerned. Mickey! Mum shrieked. We're in here, Mum, Mickey mumbled from the box. Mickey came rushing into the kitchen. Mum came rushing into the kitchen. She pulled up short when she saw the state it was in. She went as white as the spilled milk. Do you remember? Wolfie had got all the milk out of all over the floor and then poured the sugar there as well. Oh, I'm dreaming, she croaked. Please let me be dreaming. First, my lovely rug. Perhaps we could sew it back together again, Mickey said. Ha! And now all this chaos? Tell me this is a horrible nightmare, and any minute I'm going to wake up and find we never took that wicked grey dog into our house. Take him out of my sight, Mickey, before I lose all control. Not good. Yes, Mum. Sorry, Mum. Wolfie's very sorry too, Mum, said Mickey. Oh, yeah, he looks sorry, doesn't he? He's running around with a great big grin on his face, said Mum. Mickey, why are you all bent over? What's happened to your back and legs? Mickey, I think I'd better call the doctor. Mum's voice was starting to get shrill. It's okay, Mum, I'm just a bit stiff. I spent the night curled up with Wolfie. I told you not to take him to your bed, Mum shouted. I didn't, said Mickey. I slept in Wolfie's bed. You didn't ever forbid me to do that, so it seemed like a good idea at the time. Oh, Mickey, you silly little boy. You slept the entire night in a cardboard box, said Mum. Well, some of the time I was awake. Mickey, go and have a hot bath this minute. That'll ease some of this stiffness. And you'd better bath that bad puppy too. Look at him, he's rolling in the milk. Go on, both of you bath. The bent-over boy and the milkshake puppy disappeared. They returned in half an hour, upright and thoroughly scrubbed, surrounded by several angry sisters. Mum, it's not fair. It was my turn in the bathroom and Mickey hogged it. And then when they came out, Meryl jumped in front of me. And I wish I hadn't because there were foul grey dog hairs all over the bath. Mum, he mustn't ever take that puppy in the bath like that. It's positively disgusting and we'll probably end up with rabies. I think I've got rabies already. My bite's ever so sore. I think that puppy should be put to sleep. I wish he'd slept a bit last night. All that scrabbling and howling. Couldn't you shut him up, Mickey? You can all be quiet for the moment and eat some breakfast, said Mum. Come on, you're going to be late for school. Dad was rushing round too, in his suit and his socks. He was holding one shoe in his hand and he looked distracted. Why don't you put your shoes on, dear, said Mum. Well, how can I put on my shoes when the daft dogs chewed this one to a pulp? Dad shouted. What are you playing at, Mickey? I thought you could keep them under control. Sorry, Dad, I think he's teething. Well, I hope he's not getting any more teeth. Where is he now? He was just here a minute ago, said Mickey. You've got to keep your eye on him, said Dad. Mickey heard a proud little woof out in the hall. He ran to investigate. The morning paper was on the doormat, and Wolfie had performed right on top of it. What do you think performed means on the newspaper? My paper! Dad bellowed. Well, you told him what to do, Dad. He's only trying to do as he's told. He's not to know it's the newspaper you haven't read yet, said Mickey. Oh, don't take that tone of voice with me, Mr. Smarty Pants, said Dad, as he brandished the chewed shoe. Wolfie growled. Mickey caught his breath, but then he looked Dad straight in the eyes and saw he wasn't being serious. Mickey laughed, a little too loudly. Wolfie barked, and Dad gave them both a pat on the head and went off to work in his chewed shoe, minus the newspaper. Meryl and Mandy and Mona went to school, some of them still unwashed, and Mum took Mickey and Marigold to school. But what about Wolfie, said Mickey. Mum, I don't think I can go to school, not yet, not till he's bigger. I can't leave him. Don't be silly, Mickey. I'll look after him for you. Actually, Mum, I don't feel very well. I still feel ever so stiff. I don't think I'll be able to put my head up to see the board. Maybe I'd better stay home for today, said Mickey, comforting himself into a weird hunch. Mickey, stop playing up. Run into school now. Don't forget your moon picture for Miss Monk. Mickey gave Wolfie many passionate hugs and kisses, and Wolfie nuzzled him. Oh, Mum, I can't go. Wolfie needs me. Mickey found that he needed Wolfie too. He felt so little and lost without him. He kept reaching out for Wolfie and then finding that he was patting thin air. Darren and his gang were at school early, swaggering about in the playground. Mickey dodged behind a clump of little kids, but they soon spotted him. Oh, what's that Mickey Mouse has got in his lily white little hand? Darren shouted. A pretty picture. It's a picture for Miss Monk, said Mickey. Oh, picture for Miss Monk, is it? Said Darren, imitating Mickey's voice, making him sound really silly. You be quiet, said Mickey in a very small voice. Darren burst out laughing. He walked up to Mickey, curling up his fingers, flicking his finger hard against Mickey's nose. You're going to make me be quiet, are you? Said Darren. Mickey blinked. His nose stung badly. He hoped his eyes weren't going to water. Darren's gang were all circling round, flicking at him too. Someone's hard finger prodded his back. Someone's nails scratched his neck. Mickey whirled round, dodging and ducking. Darren snatched his picture from his flailing hands. What a load of rubbish, he said, and he rolled the picture up into a tube and hit Mickey on the head with it. Mickey gave a little squeak. Darren and his gang laughed. One of them gave him a push, then another. Mickey kind of staggered a little bit. It looked as if there might be a fight, and Mickey certainly wasn't interested. He definitely wouldn't win. What are you boys up to? It was Miss Monk, scurrying across the playground, her long black hair bobbing about her shoulders, the folds of her flowery blue skirt flying around. Oh, nothing, miss, said Darren quickly. What's going on, Mickey? Asked Miss Monk. Nothing, miss, said Mickey too. He wasn't daft enough to tell tales, or Darren and his gang would tear his head off. It looked like something to me, not nothing, said Miss Monk. She reached for the rolled-up picture and swiftly tapped Darren on the head with it. Silly little boy. Darren went red, and some of the children in the playground nudged each other and giggled. Now go and stand in line. The bell's going to go any minute, said Miss Monk. She unrolled the picture and stood looking at it. We'll get you for this, Darren whispered to Mickey, and he ran off with his friends. Mickey's stomach squeezed into a tight little ball. It wasn't fair. He hadn't told on them. What were they going to do to him? This is a wonderful picture, Mickey, said Miss Monk, smiling at him. Mickey smiled back tentatively, almost forgetting about Darren. It got a bit mucked up, miss, he said. Well, I think it looks lovely. I particularly like the moon craters, said Miss Monk, and she pointed to the paw prints. And this shading is very effective to show the uneven surface. Oh, it's more slurp than shading, miss, said Mickey. A slurp? Said Miss Monk, laughing. Who was licking your picture, Mickey? Was it your little sister Marigold? No, miss, said Mickey. No, it was my new puppy, Wolfie. Oh, you got a puppy? Oh, that's lovely for you. I'm so glad. And you called him Wolfie? That sounds a bit savage. He's not a baby werewolf, is he? Well, said Mickey. Miss Monk mistook his hesitation as fear. Mickey, you do know there's really no such thing as werewolves, don't you? I'm not so sure, miss, said Mickey. I know I said the other day that I was a bit frightened of werewolves, but I was really just joking, said Miss Monk. Oh, I know, miss, it's okay. I'm not a bit frightened of werewolves now, said Mickey. Then the bell rang and they had to go into school. Miss Monk pinned Mickey's picture up on the wall, which pleased him a lot. Lessons weren't too bad either, and Mickey might have relaxed and enjoyed himself if it hadn't been for Darren and his gang. They kept giving him mean glares, and Mickey started to dread the thought of lunchtime. He scooted out ahead of the others and tried lurking by the steps where the girls were playing. Marigold and her awful little friends were there. and they were playing My Little Ponies. But even their company was preferable to Darren and his gang. Marigold didn't bother to greet Mickey, but several of her friends giggled and did a quick change from pony to dog. They chanted, "Woofy, woof, woof, paws up." "Oh, silly little girls," said Mickey, and he bared his teeth. "Bitey, bite, bite," said Mickey, snapping at Marigold's sore finger. Marigold went red. The other girls giggled, looking a bit confused. "We don't want to play with my boring old brother," said Marigold. "Come on, we're all ponies and we've got to go to our stables now." They all galloped off towards the girls' toilets. "Crazy lot," said one of the girls in the older class. "Not half," said Mickey. She had a pocket chess set and started playing a game with one of the top-class big boys. They didn't seem to mind Mickey hanging around. The big boy was called Stuart, and he had glasses and a lot of freckles. Mickey was on his side, and he was pleased when he won. They began another game, and this time Stuart started telling Mickey the names of all the different chess pieces and showing him the moves they could make. "Look," Stuart said, "I can capture the White Queen now." "Well done," said Mickey, clapping Stuart on the back. Then he looked up and saw Darren and his friends approaching. "There he is!" Mickey swallowed. It looked like the pink boy's turn to be captured. "Oh, I've got to go," he gabbled to Stuart. "All right, see you tomorrow lunchtime, eh? I'll teach you how to play properly if you like," said Stuart. "Great," said Mickey, and then he was up and running with Darren and the gang baying at his heels. He dodged round the little clumps of children making for the toilets, hoping he could get inside a cubicle and lock himself in. He collided with Marigold and her friends, trotting out of the girls' toilets. "There's Woofy, Woofy, Woof," said one of them. "Woofy, Woofy, Woof," said Darren. "Why do you keep calling him that?" "Because he's scared of dogs." "Scared of dogs?" said Darren, and he roared delightedly. "Hear that, gang? Old Mickey Mouse is scared of dogs." "No, I'm not," said Mickey. "Scared of little puppies?" said Darren. "Woofy, Woofy, Woof," and he went. "I'm not scared," said Mickey desperately. "What sort of dogs are you scared of then? Bet you're even scared to play with the tiny poodles. My dad's got a pit bull terrier, and I'm not even scared of that. I'm not scared of anything." "I am," said Mickey, "but not dogs." "Liar," said Darren, and he caught hold of Mickey. "Let's get him." "Yeah!" "Let's get out of here," said Marigold's friends, but Marigold stayed where she was. "You leave my brother alone, you big bully," she shouted. "He's not scared of dogs, not anymore." "Stay out of this," said Darren, and he pushed Marigold out of the way. It was a hard push, and Marigold was still poised on tiptoe. She was knocked off balance and she fell back. There was a roaring sound inside Mickey's head. He prickled all over. He clenched his teeth. "Don't push my sister around," he said, and he punched Darren right in the nose. It was only a very feeble punch, but Darren narrowed his eyes. Mickey saw Darren's huge bunched fist flying through the air towards him. But then there was a great howl and a growl, and Wolfie came jumping right over the playground fence, rushing towards them, ears back, eyes gleaming, teeth snapping. Darren's fist froze in mid-air, his mouth opened wide. "Help!" he squeaked. "The dog's coming for me!" Darren was right. Wolfie practically flew through the air, snapping and slothering, aimed like a great grey dart at Darren's thick throat. "A mad dog! Get help! It's going to get Darren!" Darren burst into tears. "Help me, help me, help me," he burbled through the tears. "Okay," said Mickey. "Here, Wolfie, good boy, come here, pal." He snapped his fingers, and Wolfie swerved at the last minute and leapt up at Mickey instead. He jumped into Mickey's arms and licked his face lovingly, growling at this great game. All the children in the playground stared, eyes wide, mouths gaping. "I told you I'm not scared of dogs," said Mickey, giving Wolfie a big hug. "Fancy Mickey. Isn't he brave?" And the dog was frothing at the mouth. It nearly got Darren. "Look, he's still crying." "My brother Mickey saved Darren." It's only a puppy. It looked so much bigger when it was running up towards him. What sort of dog is it then? They're talking about us, Wolfie, Mickey whispered, nuzzling into him. So what are you doing here, boy? Mum came running into the playground, looking hot and flustered. There he is! I thought I'd take him for a walk, but suddenly he bristled all over and went flying off. I simply couldn't stop him. Bring him over here, Mickey. What's he been up to? I've never known a dog to get into so many scrapes. You're not a boring old dog, are you? Mickey whispered into his ear. You're my special Werepuppy, and we're going to get into lots of scrapes together, aren't we? Wolfie woofed delightedly. Mickey looked deep into his glowing amber eyes and saw his own face grinning happily back at him. And there they are. And that's the end of the book. I hope you enjoyed the Werepuppy. I will be back tomorrow with another story. Have a lovely day.